day long. The Flowerpot Man. The Flowerpot Man.
The Flowerpot Spacemen. One beautiful summer's night, the moon was shining brightly over the garden. It was full and beautiful, which was why Weed was looking at it. "Oh, what a beautiful moon we have tonight," she said. "Full and bright, just the way I like it. It shows it's a beautiful night tonight." At Thistle's corner, Bill and Ben were also looking at the moon. Bill was sitting on one end of their seesaw, and Ben was sitting on their tree swing. "Oh, flobber-dobber-loon," said Bill. "Ah, flobber-dobber beautiful," said Ben. It's all right, I suppose," said Thistle, who didn't really care. "Flobbered all right?" said Bill. "Flobbily," said Ben. "I'm sorry, but I'm not as interested in the moon like you two are," said Thistle. "Now, if you excuse me, I'm going to sleep." Then she closed her eyes and went to sleep. Bill and Ben looked at each other, shrugged, and looked back up at the sky. As they looked, they thought it would be amazing to go to the moon. But it looked so far away. How could they get there? Bill and Ben had a think, and then Bill came up with an idea. "Aha! Flobberlob!" he said. Bill got off the seesaw and ran off. Ben scratched his head, wondering what Bill had in mind. Bill skidded to a stop by the clothesline pole at the end of the garden and climbed into the peg bag. Then he pulled himself up to the top of the pole. Ben skidded to a stop by the pole and looked up. "Flobber doing, Bill?" he called. "Flobber-dobber-loon!" called Bill. He had thought he could use the peg bag to get up high, but the moon still looked far away. Bill held his arm out trying to reach it, but he couldn't. Oh. Ben was tempted to pull the string down to send the peg bag down to the ground, but he turned away from the pole and shook his head. Flub, not this time," he said. Ben sat down on a pebble next to the pole, but he immediately stood up and pulled the string down. Oh! The peg bag fell down to the ground with Bill inside it. "Wah!" yelled Bill. The peg bag landed on the ground with a thump. Bill fell out, and Ben laughed at him. Oh, flop. Flopper could not resist, laughed Ben. Flobberlob, sighed Bill. Ben stopped laughing, and Bill stood up and put his hand on Ben's shoulder. "Flobber-dobber-loon, flobber-dobber-dead, flobber-dobber-ding, flobber-dobber-get-there," he said. Bill decided that he and Ben would go to the shed to find something to help them get to the moon. So off they went. Bill and Ben climbed onto the workbench and walked over to the window. Flobbered incredibly long," said Bill. He thought they would need something incredibly long as the moon looked so far away. Bill spotted a very long bamboo stick standing next to the shelf next to the window. "Aha! Flobber bamboo stick," he said. Bill ran over to the edge of the workbench, jumped off, and picked up the bamboo stick, which was very heavy to him. "Oh! Flobbered heavy," grunted Bill. Ben appeared at the edge of the workbench and looked down. "Flobbered all right, Bill?" he asked. "Oh, flobber yes. Flobber fine," grunted Bill. "Flobbered on my way," called Ben. He jumped off the workbench to give Bill a hand. Bill and Ben walked out of the shed holding the bamboo stick to stop it falling over. "Flobber got it," grunted Bill. Flobber yes," grunted Ben. The Flowerpot men were hoping that the bamboo stick would stand up, so that they'd be able to climb up it to get to the moon. They carried the bamboo stick to Thistle's corner. Flop it to me! Flop it to you! Flop it to me! Flop it to you! Flop it to me! Flop it to you! Flop it steady! Flop it steady! Flop it steady! Flop it steady! When they got there, Bill and Ben put the stick down, and it fell over. Oh, Flop! They said crossly. Bill's plan hadn't worked, but luckily, Ben knew another place they could go to look for something to help them. He looked towards the cellar and jumped for joy. Aha! Flobadella! Woohoo! Flop on, Bill! Said Ben, and he ran off towards the cellar. Flobber coming! Said Bill as he ran to catch up with Ben. Bill and Ben slid down the cellar slide, and when they got to the bottom, they started looking around for something long. Ben went around the corner and saw a ladder which he thought would be perfect for the job. Flobber Bill! Flobber ladder! Said Ben. Bill appeared from around the corner and saw the ladder. Flobber, good job, Ben, he said. Ben rubbed his hands together and tried to pick up the ladder, but it was too heavy and he couldn't lift it. Flobber Bill! Flobber help! Panted Ben. Flobber coming, Ben, said Bill, and he and Ben held the ladder together. Flobber after free, said Bill. Flobby, said Ben. The Flowerpot men counted. Flob, flew, flee! And they tried to lift the ladder together, but it was still too heavy. Flobber too heavy, panted Bill. Oh, Flobber bother, panted Ben. Neither of Bill and Ben's plans had worked, but they were the kind of people who didn't give up easily, so they started thinking of another idea. And then an idea popped into both of their heads. Flobber balloon! Said Bill and Ben as they clicked their fingers. Bill and Ben arrived at the fence and climbed into the basket of their hot air balloon. Bill pulled the anchor out of the wooden box and up into the basket. The balloon started to rise into the sky. Flobber, up we go! Said Bill. Flobber up into the sky! Said Ben. The Flowerpot men were absolutely sure that their hot air balloon would take them to the moon. The balloon got to the top of the fence and flew towards Thistle's corner. When it got there, Thistle was asleep until Bill and Ben called down to her. Flobber Thistle! Thistle woke up slowly, looked around, and saw Bill and Ben in their balloon. Flobber going to the moon! Called the Flowerpot men. Are you now? That's nice, yawned Thistle as she went back to sleep. As the balloon flew higher into the sky, Bill looked at the moon happily. It looked like he and Ben would get there after all. From behind Bill's back, Ben saw the horn that stayed in the balloon basket and had a mischievous idea. He picked it up, sniggered quietly, crept up behind Bill, and blew the horn, giving him a fright. Whoa! What was that? Cried Bill. Ben started laughing, blew the horn again, and carried on laughing. Bill realized that Ben had blown the horn to scare him. Ugh, Flobber Ben, he unamusingly said. Oh, Flobber Ben's of humour, Bill, said Ben as he put his hand on Bill's shoulder. Bill quickly saw the funny side and smiled when he looked at his brother smiling. Flobber the horn, he said. Ben gave the horn to Bill, who blew it, and the Flowerpot men laughed together. As Bill and Ben were laughing, the balloon flew up through the clouds. "Ooh!" they said. Now the balloon was flying above the clouds. "Woohoo!" said Bill and Ben. They were having a wonderful time. Now that they were above the clouds, they would be on the moon very soon. Just then, Pry appeared and landed on the edge of the balloon basket. "Hello, boys. What are you two doing up in the sky at this time of night?" she said. Bill and Ben told her all about going to the moon. Then Pry started laughing. "Flubber funny?" said the Flowerpot men, who were confused. "Oh, I'm sorry, you two, but you'll never get to the moon in your balloon," said Pry. "The moon is so far away, and you need a rocket to get there, and spacesuits as well. You know that the moon is in space, right?" "Flop?" said Bill. "Flubber know that," said Ben. "Well, there's no air and gravity in space," explained Pry. "You haven't got spacesuits, and you need them to keep you on the ground to help you breathe in space." "Oh!" groaned Bill and Ben disappointedly. "Oh, don't be disappointed, you two," said Pry. "You didn't know that, and you still tried to get to the moon, didn't you?" "Flop?" said Bill and Ben, nodding their heads. "So you gave it a go, and did you give up?" said Pry. "Flop!" said Bill and Ben, shaking their heads. "Then you didn't let anything get in your way, and you kept on trying," said Pry. "Whey!" cheered Bill and Ben. Pry smiled for the Flowerpot men, and then yawned. "I think I'd better get back to my nest, and you'd better go back to your flower pots. It's getting late," she said. "Flop agree," yawned the Flowerpot men. "Good night, Bill and Ben," said Pry. "Flubber, good night, Pry," said Bill and Ben as Pry flew off back to her nest. Bill picked up the anchor and threw it over the edge of the basket, so the balloon started flying back down to the ground. The anchor attached itself to the wooden box, and the balloon landed on the ground with a gentle bump. "Flubber fun time," yawned Bill. "Flubber enjoy tonight," yawned Ben. The Flowerpot men had had a wonderful night, but as Pry said, it was bedtime, so they headed home back to their flower pots. "Hello, boys," said Weed as Bill and Ben returned to the bottom of the garden. "You're back just in time for bed." "Flubber, Weed," said Bill and Ben as they climbed into their flower pots. "I'm sure you saw the moon tonight," said Weed. "Flubber-dub," said Bill, nodding his head. "Flubber tried to get there," said Ben. "You tried to get to the moon?" said Weed. "Flop," said Bill and Ben, nodding their heads. And so the Flowerpot men told Weed about their moon adventure. They had learned that when you try to do something, you must keep on trying. But if you can't do it, the important thing is that you give it a go and you never, ever give up.
Bill and Ben, the Flowerpot men. Bill and Ben, the Flowerpot men. They've been playing in the garden, playing with their friends. Now they'll be sleeping